Hey everyone, Keller for Sci-Fi ACTION MOVIE REVIEWS here. Today I'm going to talk about my experience at Planet Comicon Kansas City for 2016. We arrived here in downtown on Thursday a day early before the con and checked into the Residence Inn here in Baltimore in downtown. We also went to the classic arcade bar Up Down. If you've never been, I really recommend it because it has a huge 80s 90s vibe to it. First day, we arrived a couple hours early before the con opened so we could hit a lot of the celebrities in Celebrity Lane before the weekend rush. Got to meet Ernie Hudson, Alex Winter, and John Rhys Davies. Also got to meet William Shatner, but his was a real last minute thing. He was only scheduled for Friday and Saturday, but his plane got delayed and was told he would only show up for Saturday. It was a real shock when they started setting up his booth, and when asked, they said he was about to touch down and he was going to rush to the event. The convention stayed open a few extra hours just so he could meet all the fans who waited, which was really cool of him and the convention for doing that. Also randomly ran to Meat Canyon's booth. We didn't even know he was going to be there. Me and my friend were just joking around like, who would name their company Soft Meat? And then I was like, wait a minute. I recognize that dude in the is that Nick? Oh, that's Meat Canyon right next to him. They were selling a bunch of Margaret toys, which I bought one. I also got him and a few of his crew members to sign it. I also got a one-of-a-kind drawing he did the night previous before the con opened, which was also really cool. Saturday was a real mess. Got to the event a few hours early again, but it didn't matter. The place was packed. Was trying to get to Elijah Wood's line, but we were let in the opposite side of the event, so we rushed to Celebrity Lane, and that didn't even matter because they said they weren't letting in general admission till 4. It was only VIP and fast passes only. So we hopped on over to Sean Astin's line, and that took about 5.5 hours. After that, we tried Elijah's line again, but was still told, no, they're not taking anybody else right now. It is full. Try to come back in an hour. So we went and got some lunch. We got nachos, and we tried coming back after that hour, but then we were told, nope, still full. Come back after another hour. We weren't going to do that this time, so we kind of just stayed on standby. Almost got shooed away a couple times, so finally someone came over to that person and said, hey, what are you doing? Just let everybody in. The hard cap off is at 7. They're just going to try to rush everybody in. So we got to meet Elijah just by the skin of our teeth, which was really amazing. We only had like a half hour to spare before the con closed for the day. There was a lot of really neat and amazing things at those vendors. There was like a bunch of classic comics, bunch of vintage toys, just really cool stuff. Got to meet Karen Ashley. She was such a sweet lady. She took a photo with me and she was like, hold on, let's get over here in this better lighting. She didn't have to do that. Really amazing person. Also had a few photo ops, one with Ernie Hudson and then a duo with Sean Astin and Elijah Woods. So here is my haul from Planet Comicon 2026 down here in Kansas City. Up here I have all original Amazing Spider-Man prints. Up here I have Amazing Spider-Man Double Trouble issue 2, which is the American reprint. I got Amazing Spider-Man annual number 17, Amazing Spider-Man issue 356, 364, 366, 367, and 376. Again, these are all original prints. Then up here, or over here, I have a bunch of signatures. So like up here I have Ernie Hudson, who wrote Who You Gonna Call and wrote Winston. Got William Shatner, Karen Ashley, Alex Winter, and then down here I got some photo ops. This one again with Ernie Hudson in his Ghostbuster costumes, so I wore mine. And then over here was a duo op with Sam and Frodo with Sean Astin and Elijah Wood. And over here I have a painting print of the original cast of Star Trek. Then up here I have a Margaret toy that was from Meat Canyon's booth, and I got a few people to sign it, including Meat Canyon himself, Hunter Hancock, Nick, which his signature got smudged a bit, Harry, and Brian. There were a few people there that I saw, but I didn't get a signature from. Like, I didn't get Jacob's signature, and I didn't see Allison there. I did see his mom up there, though. I wish I would have gotten her signature. It would have been funny to get, like, the signature of the creator of the creator. Anyway, moving on. Over here, I brought a 25th anniversary popcorn bucket from AMC to have a few of the members of the fellowship sign it. Right down here, I have John Rhys Davies. He wrote Gimli and No Beard. He was also kind enough to sign where it was from, KC, and then also dated for me. And then over the next day over here, Sean Astin signed it and wrote Sam. And then a little while later, that same day, Elijah Wood signed it and wrote Frodo. So when I get home, I want to put this in a case and keep it nice and see if I can get the rest of the fellowship to sign it someday. And then lastly down here, I have an original drawing from Me Canyon, Hunter himself. He drew this the day before the event started. There was only 4 drawings left, and I was lucky enough to, well, me and my friend were lucky enough to get our own. It says Pegasus. I'm not sure what that's from, if it's a YouTuber like More Pegasus. I'm going to have to do a little more research on it, but I had Me Canyon and Nick sign it. And that's everything I got down here at Planet Comicon, which is pretty cool. All in all, it was such a fun event, really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the next one. See you, everyone. Just a quick little message before this video actually ends. Sorry this video taking a while to come out, because literally right after I came back from Comic-Con, I had some surgery done on my jaw, and so I couldn't really finish the video until after my face completely healed. I had like a malignant hole or something in my jaw, so they had to like cut it open, pool blood in it so it can like form blood or something to promote bone growth. Yeah, so anyway, right during healing, just a few days ago actually, at the time of recording this, Me Kenny also dropped a video actually talking about Comic-Cons and like their problems and stuff. One thing I feel like he failed to mention was security, because on Saturday at Planet Comicon, me and my friend, we arrived early. I was wanting to wear a Deadpool costume that I was originally going to wear on Halloween, but came in late. So I put it in a suitcase and I brought it to the convention center, and I was stopped right at the door. Security or whoever just said, "Hey, you can't have that." I told them, I explained the situation. Well, my costume's in it. I was going to put it on and like change into it. And like, "Oh, okay. Just take it to the locker room and they'll check your bag for you." I'm like, okay. Not even like a few feet inside the convention, I got stopped yet again. They're like, "Hey, you can't have that in here." And once again, I just explained my costume's in it, and I'm going to have it checked in the locker area. Like, "Oh, okay, yeah, the locker's right down there, down the hall. You can have it checked in there." I'm like, okay. Well, as soon as we got to the locker area, doors were locked. A woman unlocked it for us. I tried explaining the situation that I need my bag checked before I could do anything. She's like, "Oh, well, I can't really check. I got my own booth right now. The locker guy should be here soon." The guy was like 20 minutes late before, like when the con was about ready to start. They needed to be there before the event started. Dude was late. And by the time he did get there, he unlocked the door again because we weren't allowed to stay in the locker room. So I had my suitcase in there and everything. I explained the situation to him. He's like, "Well, do you want to store it or do you have a locker?" I told him, "No, I need my bag checked because they won't let me have this bag in here until it's checked." He's like, "Well, I'm not security. I can't check it. Well, I can store it for you." I'm like, "Well, I have a locker. I need it checked." He's like, "Well, I got to call security. It's going to be a minute. You said you had a locker?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Well, let me put the number down." I gave him my locker number. He wrote it down, put a sticky note on my bag, and he put it behind him. And he's like, "Yeah, security will check it out later." I'm like, "Okay, fine. I'll be back later because I got some stuff to do." And so me and my friend went along our way. Well, long story short, well, actually not too short. But anyway, the event took forever. This was like when I was in line forever for Elijah Wood and Sean Astin. So I didn't have any time to put the costume on because there was like an hour left the event after that. So we were about ready to head back to our hotel. I went to go get my suitcase. I noticed one thing. The suitcase was in the exact same spot when I left it earlier that morning. I told them my locker number. They gave me the suitcase, and sure enough, I looked through it. It didn't look like it was rummaged through at all. No one checked it at all, which is very scary, especially if they were acting like this is such a high security risk. I also found out too later on if this is true. Apparently, this was the biggest attended Planet Comicon in the history books. It used to be like in the Overland Park Convention Center, which then got outgrew. So then they moved it to the Convention Center, like in Bartle Hall, because of the high capacity of attendees. But like this year alone was like the biggest, I guess, in record history for this event. It just makes it even more scarier because they're not doing any bag checks. They're not using like any metal detectors or anything, like checking people over. Because one of the guys I was in line with for Sean Astin had an electronic tattoo needle gun and also a cast iron frying pan in his backpack. And that's just the little off chance stuff. It's like, who knows what other people brought into this event. And then like another thing, like prop checks. I remember our first year there, like about 2 years ago. They had the prop checks like front and center when you first entered the event, and they wanted people to check all their props. Like I remember because my first year I brought a Ghostbusters costume like I kind of did this year. They checked my proton pack, my PKE meter, and my goggles. Well, this year, I don't know what happened. They put the prop checks like in the far back in a back room somewhere with 2 police officers. And I brought my same props again. They didn't even bother looking at the PKE meter or the goggles. They only put this like small little thing like on my proton pack, which you can't even see this stuff anyway because they're not doing any prop checks like in the convention center. And then of course you have all these vendors who are also selling melee weapons. Granted, they could be props. Who knows? I wasn't checking them out like that, but they're not really checking like who brings in what, which it makes it even highly more scary. Especially like I just said, they're not using metal detectors, so you don't know who the hell's bringing what in this event. And if this is the biggest this event has been, they really need to up their security for next year because right now, what's going on right now, they need to up their security, and I feel like that should be something that should be addressed for next year. And that's basically all I just want to say. And I saw that's probably the end of the video. Bye, everyone. What the hell? I wasn't expecting anybody. Oh, it's so heavy. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So... that. Don't flip it off.